Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is what I have been working on. So I bought this new to me Chrysler 300. It's a 1967 with a 440 V8. And as you can see, it's currently not running. So I want to go over and show you kind of the stuff that I did. This isn't the greatest picture in the world of what I'm dealing with here, but essentially, I bought this car for $7,000. My fault, because the previous owner said he got it from his uncle who passed away, and he did not want anything to do with the vehicle. So he sold it. He got $7,000 out of it, which in terms of, for me, I thought I was getting a good deal. And then, of course, I replaced the fuel pump per the previous owner, telling me that the fuel pump needed to be replaced and then it would run. Well, that was not the case. So the last 2.5 days now, I have replaced the resistor right there. I have replaced the starter down underneath. I, of course, replaced the fuel pump as well, along with the fuel filter. I put all new hose in there for the fuel lines. Before I get it to my actual mechanic here, you can see I didn't do the greatest job in the world with the fuel lines, but I blew all the fuel lines out, fuel hoses, everything like that, because underneath here, the old hose, which is right there, you could just touch it like this and it wouldn't move and it would just crack and fail, essentially. So that's what we're dealing with. And here's the other issue. So when I went to put these rims on, I didn't realize that every single not lug nut, the stud on the left side was left-hand thread instead of right-handed thread. So thus I had to get a few more studs, and then I was able to get most of the tires on here, except I'm missing this one because I ended up getting new rear shocks as well. Gas charged shock absorbers, just the OEM. What would fit on here. I'm not looking to do anything too special. I want to try to keep it as original as possible. So I did that, but I need to replace this rear drum back here, drum brake as well, because when I was taking the drum off, it just wouldn't budge. It was rusted on because of the fact that, this is a 1967 and it's probably never been done before. So I'm just doing some stuff here before I actually take it to the mechanic. Now, the one problem is here you could see the lights don't turn on in the vehicle now. So when we were trying to start it a couple days ago, poof, the electricity went and that was it. So now, here's the problem. What the auto part guy said was the resistor right here. It turns out the problem is probably the starter relay right there. But now here's the real big problem. So I put the new starter in, it was OEM, same part, except this is a gear reduction starter instead of a huge starter like before. When I do that, that's all the noise the starter makes. So it's not connecting inside. And again, I'm no mechanic at all, but it's not connecting inside. So that's real great. Kind of screwed myself there. I don't know what the issue is there. And quite frankly, I'd love to get this vehicle started and at least drive it to my guy up the road from me, which is a 7-minute drive up the road. I would love to at least drive this there. But the positive is it's winter out, so it's January. I don't need to really worry about that. But yeah, so I'm hoping it's the starter relay as to why nothing works on the vehicle. As you can see here, it looks like it was repainted, and I should have known that, which to me, I guess it's not a huge deal. I still need to do a paint correction on this. My guy can hopefully mix up some paint that matches, and then we can get, these nicks and whatever, paint chips fixed. But you can see here, it looks like there's new carpet because it looks like this was torn out. I could probably find some of this parts here, no problem. But you could see here just what a poor paint job the previous owner or the original owner did. Here, of course, is the original card from 3/15/67 in Minnesota. So I have to do an interior detail on this too. I mean, the interior is filthy. I've got the car cover in the back. You know, it's just stuff that needs to be done. But as you can see, when you turn the key, nothing happens. And apparently there's 23,000 original miles on the vehicle as seen here. So I guess for me, like, none of the lights work, nothing. The flashers don't work, nothing. So I'm thinking it's a starter relay or something. I'm hoping I can get this figured out. But to me, I guess I don't mind the paint so much because I can work my magic and get this paint fixed. And it's not a huge deal because I don't have the money, of course, to repaint this car. I thought the paint looked pretty good in the dark garage when I was checking it out. I was able to put my rims on, which is really good. But again, then there's some other stuff like this, you know, that you see, and it's just, well, it's not screwed in, essentially. But the trunk is nice. There's a little hole underneath that I'm going to have my guy fix as well. And maybe redo the pinstriping or take the pinstriping off. I think the cream color with the black looks really good. So essentially here, I got to get, and it's not going to be soon, but I want to get this engine bay cleaned up. And ultimately, I just want to get this car running. That's the biggest thing. I just want to get the vehicle running. So I just don't know where to, I don't even know where to start right now in order to get that starter to work. It's the right part. I mean, we sized it up. Everything looked the same at the auto parts store. It should be good. Now, another thing that I want to point out is the bumpers look pretty much brand new. There's not a lot of pitting on there. This is all just road grime and salt. So there's not a lot of pitting on the bumpers. So I think this may have been this guy's uncle's resto mod at one point. You know, he's trying to restore it because it probably had been sitting and then he was working on restoring it. I mean, key point right here. This exhaust pipe is old. That exhaust pipe over there is new. So, and the mid mufflers are new. So I guess I don't understand what the guy before the guy I bought it from was trying to do, if this was his original car and then he ultimately passed away and wasn't able to finish it. I guess I'm not totally sure on what this is. I mean, there's a lot of this junk right here that could be taken out, sawed off, basically. I mean, you can see how rusty it is. So I'm really curious to see, once I take this to my mechanic here, what he's gonna say and what he's gonna recommend. I mean, the interior, case in point, that's bad paint job. Case in point here, I don't think this is the original interior. The seat looks too new. I don't even know what this is here. It's like, why is that there? I guess I don't have a clue. I would just rather take this off myself. But yeah, so I need to go through. I just want to get the car running, and then I want to go through and do the interior. I guess the interior is kind of the last of my worry here. I would just absolutely love to get the vehicle running for right now. Even the top looks fairly new. There is a spot right there that was patched, but the top looks new itself. You know, it'd be nice to get new chrome pieces here. Not a huge worry, but it would be nice. And get some other stuff done on it. But I'm impressed with the rims. These are 18-inch rims here. They're 275/45 R18s, ZR18s on the back, and they fit just wonderfully. They look really good too, with not much room to spare, but there is room to spare, believe it or not. Like I said, here's some of this stuff I'd like to get replaced eventually, and then possibly the pinstriping as well. I wouldn't mind getting the pinstriping redone, because some of it is just brushed off or missing. You know, the pinstriping adds a nice little effect on it, and maybe some pinstriping on the hood too. I guess I'm not overly worried about that, but that's the project so far. Again, I'm in love with the car. I have a 300 SRT myself. As you can see, I've got a Jeep SRT. I love Mopar. I love the historicness of the vehicles, and this was definitely a big part of Mopar history right here. And I'm hoping I can just get it going, and it's not going to cost a whole ton of money. I mean, when I looked at all the brakes, they looked like they only had 23,000 miles on them. So I just left the brakes as is, except for this rear one because I was wrenching on it and probably broke it. But I left the other one as is. And what I'm going to do is eventually just get drum covers or drums for it so it doesn't look so rusty. And, you know, they'll be essentially covered. I'm going to see what a rotor kit would cost because it would look pretty awesome if I got not necessarily Brembos, but just some sort of rotor on here, even if it's just on the front and not on the back. So we may look into that in the future, but for right now, what I need to do is just try to get this car running, try to get the rear shocks on, and then what I need to do here is just take a wire brush and try to get some of this rust off, because what I want to do is like powder coat or rhino coat the bottom of the car, kind of like this, like a bed liner almost, so it gives it some protection and makes it look a little bit better. That's what I think my goal is just to do that with it. Just probably put like a bed liner type material, spray material on the bottom, just so it looks good and it doesn't rust any more than it already is. So that's kind of the goal for right now, but that's the project so far. I'm not very patient, so this has been very hard to work on, but I'm really curious to see once I get it running how it's going to run. I'm probably going to need a carburetor rebuild here. I want to do some engine mods to it eventually because I think this is just the base 440 engine. I don't think this is the TNT engine. We will see once we get it to the shop and see what Dusty says. But for right now, that's the project, and I'm going to update everybody here on this and hopefully, you know, eventually get some new parts for it along the way. Ultimately, if he says this actually has 23,000 miles on it, I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to keep doing the small stuff to it, you know, finding a different, newer grill for it, headlights, that type of stuff. This would be really, really sick with the Dodge Challenger style halo headlights on here. I think that would be pretty dang cool myself. But again, that's going to be a long ways down the road. For right now, I just got to get this running, get the paint fixed up, you know, all the exterior stuff and interior stuff that I want done with this vehicle. And then eventually I'm going to replace, you know, the chrome patches and stuff like that where, you know, it could just be replaced. So that's the project for right now. I'm gonna, again, keep everybody updated on how it's going here. And yeah, so we'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe.